Good day to everyone who is attending the International Interdisciplinary Conference on COVID and its impact on human rights conducted by Karnavati University and State Human Rights Commission. I am thankful for accepting my paper for this particular conference. The theme of the paper is Impact of COVID on Right to Health, and the topic of my paper is Regulatory Responses to Impact of COVID-19 on the Insurance Sector and the Way Forward. My name is Dr. G. Mallikarjun, and I am a professor from the Lloyd Law College, Greater Noida. In the introduction, I have discussed about two aspects that constitute the essence of my paper. One is COVID 2019, which is one of the greatest threats to the world health and economy, and it's still unraveling. And it has adversely affected every sector of the economy and every section of the population, and insurance sector is no exception. Then, Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority is basically the statutory authority which is responsible for regulation and development of insurance sector in India, and most importantly, protection of policyholders' interest. And it took a slew of measures for tackling the challenges posed by the impact of COVID on policyholders in general and insurance sector as well. Then I would also go ahead and discuss what are the measures that IRDAI has taken in this direction post-COVID and what is the way forward insofar as insurance is concerned. Now, coming to COVID-19, it is basically coronavirus disease, which has been abbreviated to COVID 2019 because that was when it was detected first in Wuhan, a city in China. Then it is basically caused by SARS-CoV-2 virus, and the problem is it's a severe acute respiratory syndrome, and the second problem is it's very, very contagious, which spread rapidly to all parts of the world. So seeing the intensity of its spread and the problems, WHO, the World Health Organization, declared it as a public health emergency of international concern in January 2020, and within 2 months, it had to raise it to the level of a pandemic by March 2020. Then the action to tackle COVID was basically taking measures to prevent spread of infection, and second, to treat the disease. So the measures which created maximum havoc are the measures to prevent spread of infection from the business perspective. As far as the life and health perspective, maximum havoc was caused in terms of the measures to deal with the disease and also to enable respiratory support, etc. So that was where most of the human misery was, and the business misery was coming out of the measures to prevent the spread. First, social distancing was specified, which continues even now. Then curbs on international travel. Then medical examination was made mandatory. Then whoever has come from abroad, there were quarantine restrictions. Whoever has been detected, quarantine for them. Then lockdown, partial or total, was introduced, which resulted in closing of shops, businesses and government establishments, and in shutting down of transport facilities, and then virtually creating a curfew in preventing movement of people as well. What was the outcome of this entire disease and its aftermath and its associated aspects to prevent the spread, etc.? They created a severe impact on the health, life, and enterprise globally. What was the impact on insurance sector? The impact was on two directions. One, from the individuals getting impacted, and second, from the enterprises getting impacted, and consequent damages to that. And third is the insurance business itself getting impacted, because both these aspects of health, life, and livelihood as well as business had implications on insurance business. So first, as far as the individuals are concerned, health, life, and livelihood were affected. Then on the enterprise side, business and operations were affected. Then impact on the insurance business and operations was there was an increased amount of claims for death or treatment of illnesses and hospitalization, etc. Then increased reinsurance claims because of the insurers' claims being increased. There was a pressure on the reinsurers also, and this resulted in reduced profitability. Then proposer and policyholder issues in getting the services from the insurers. And also approaching the insurers. Then inconvenience in regulatory compliances for the insurers, and the general business distress and the incapacity of individuals to service their policies in terms of payment of premiums, etc. The first, there was as much as a 40% rise in the death claims of life insurers when you compare the figures of 2019, 20, and 2021. Similarly, there was an increase in incurred claims of health insurance companies by more than 20%. Then, parallelly, the reinsurance companies' profitability and the claims were also more. And GIC in the life insurance book reported a loss of close to 1,000 crores. And it reported an organizational loss of 771 crores in the time when the claims relating to COVID were high. Similarly, the businesses were also impacted very severely, and especially the MSME sector was very badly hit due to business interruption, low demand, and the consequent distress. And the low demand issue and other aspects relating to economy are still, we have not fully recovered. Then policyholder and proposer related distress. So basically solicitation was affected, then medical examinations, etc. was difficult with lockdown, etc. Then layoff, lowered wages, unemployment, and other things led to financial distress, which in turn incapacitated them from making the premium payment in due, thereby making them eligible for continuation of insurance. Then there was a strain on the health facilities and consequent inability to avail of health insurance and health services. So though they had insurance, they couldn't go to the hospital because of the mad rush that was there. Then servicing and submission of claim documents, etc. was affected, and this in turn put a burden on the finances as well. Then the regulatory compliances were affected. This was in fact the more simpler part of it, that is submission of periodic returns to IRDA and then putting the public disclosure statements, making and putting them on the public domain, they were affected. The most important thing that came out is the glaring inadequacies in the healthcare system became very obvious. First, the shortcomings in the healthcare system across the country, which resulted in hospitalization and treatment getting affected because of the poor health facilities. Then inadequacy of medical equipment, that is the runaround for oxygen cylinders, masks, PPE kits, etc. was there for everyone to see, and it's not faded out of our memory. Then inadequacy of staff, medical and paramedical staff for handling the huge volume of patients coming in. It was very, very difficult. Then those who were not insured and poor were the ones who bore the brunt. They were pushed to poverty and they were unable to afford treatment. And some of them were even unable to afford the proper last rites for their kith and kin, resulting in disposing of the bodies in Ganges, etc. So parallelly, the government finances were also affected severely. Then the strategies of regulatory responses of IRDA we'll discuss. So basically, there were 5 aspects to it. One, in terms of ameliorating the misery of claimants, policyholders, and prospects so that the aspects relating to insurance policy delivery continue properly. Then ensuring continued insurance service delivery it was also an adjunct to this aspect of alleviating the misery. Then meeting the emerging challenges, then coming out with innovative solutions, and finally planning for such catastrophes in case they come back to revisit us again. So as far as hospitalization and claim handling is concerned, IRDA gave guidelines to insurers to first expedite the claims, then to not repudiate their claims without review, then to provide cashless facility at networked hospitals for COVID-19, then to adhere to the 2-hour turnaround time for providing pre-authorization to avail of cashless facility, and also after the completion of formalities for final discharge so that they can have a smooth exit. Then to have systems for online submission of claim documents because the offices were all closed. Then to provide telemedicine facilities for consultancy and other related aspects. Then to provide settlement options for unit-linked insurance policies in the life sector so that they can get some money. So the result of all this was during the period 2021, only 0.8% of the claims were repudiated by insurers, and as high as 98% of them were honored in favor of the customers. Then for solicitation, proposal, and policy issuance to smoothen the process, IRDA issued directions to insurers to provide comprehensive health cover at affordable cost for organizations so that promote insurance habit. Then exempt from wet signature on proposal form. So move more by taking a consent through electronic means. Then issue policy in electronic form, and then to dispense with the physical copy of proposal and policy to be issued to the policy holders. Then as far as renewal is concerned, they indicated that since the branches may be open or not, provide alternative channels for premium payment, then permit premium payment in installments, which is not permitted as far as health insurance is concerned, though you have modes of monthly salary savings and other things available for life insurance. Then since the inconvenience would be there to extend the grace period for premium payment, directions were issued. Then for policyholder information, the insurers were advised to come out with and have a notice on the website to indicate the admissibility of COVID claims and policies offered, then the details of offices which are open or closed during the lockdown period, then what are the alternative arrangements that they are providing for the services to be availed of, then come out with an FAQ relating to COVID claims, etc. Then as far as compliance with regulatory returns is concerned, they gave extension of time for submission of returns and for placing the public disclosures on the website. This facility was extended to intermediaries also. Then as far as management, business continuity and operations is concerned, some corporate governance related instructions were given to the insurers. First, to conduct their board meetings online since they couldn't physically come out, then put in place business continuity plans to deal with the crisis, etc., and other issues out of closing of branches, etc. With the increased use of electronic systems, guard against the cyber risks, then set up two committees, basically a crisis management committee to monitor developments for an appropriate response, then a risk management committee to evaluate and mitigate risks. Then finally, most important aspect because of the increasing claims is to critically assess their capital and solvency margin. And because capital is going to be critical, it is necessary that the amount of profits and other things have to be retained. So insurers were cautioned from declaring dividend and also expanding their expenses to management. Then IRDA on its own took initiatives to create certain standard products. The features of these products are the standardization of terms and conditions and the policy will be issued by insurers in the same manner, only by making the pricing. So these products were popularized by IRDA through press releases and the live programs as well. Two specific short-term policies were devised by IRDA and a long-term and a continuing policy called Arogya Sanjeevani was brought up. The two policies were basically Corona Kavach, which is an indemnity-based policy, which is dealing with hospitalization, etc., which can be issued by health insurers and general insurers. Then another benefit-based policy called Corona Rakshak was also introduced as a standard product to be issued not only by health and general insurers but also by life insurers. Then for the promoting the life insurance habit also, two products, one a term insurance product called Saral Jeevan Bima and a annuity product for pension called Saral Pension were introduced. Then strategic measures for dealing with future issues were also taken, like to enable quicker responses to the emerging situation and to come out with customized products. The system of product filing from file and use, which was there, has been moved to use and file system to enable greater innovation and also to get more customized products based on needs. So they can issue the product and submit the documents to IRDA. Hitherto, they were doing the fact that they were creating the documents, then giving it to IRDA, and if IRDA does not disapprove them within 30 days, then they used to issue. So this is the change that has been done to meet new demands that could be there. Then to deal with this kind of problem of a catastrophic nature, a working group was constituted to examine the formation of an Indian pandemic risk pool, which is basically a catastrophic risk pool. We already have an Indian nuclear risk pool and a terrorism pool. So experts from life insurance, general insurance and reinsurance, as well as international markets and industry associations were members of this group. They examined the constitution of an Indian pandemic risk pool. The report has been submitted by this group and it is being examined. They had recommended to create a pool which is going to be managed by GICD, which is the Indian reinsurer. The other pools that I referred to are also being managed by them only. Since the volume of money that would be required for this catastrophic risk also would be high, they had recommended they have recommended a government backstop support for this. Now, the importance of insurance has been underlined by the pandemic and its fallout, not only for individuals to take care of their health and life, but also for the enterprises to take care of the business risk and business continuity, protection relating to that, profitability, and etc. So, to educate people of the benefits of insurance and risk protection, so that insurance no more remains a push product that has to be shoved down people, but as a pull product where people understand the utility of it and want to have it. Then to ensure improved insurance penetration and density through a targeted approach. So instead of having premium related targets, now we should move in for locational targets for property, etc. Then individuals who have not been covered and families who have not been protected and homes which are and businesses which are not covered by insurance, those should be targeted and brought within the fold of insurance. And this could be easily achieved in respect of retail policies, at least through the popularization and promotion of standardized products which have been devised by IRDA, like your Arogya Sanjeevani for health, then Saral Bima and Saral Pension, so that basic insurance needs are met. Then general insurance policies to cover loss of profit and business interruption risks have also to be popularized. Then to develop and promote innovation in all aspects of insurance, right from product development to solicitation to proposal issuance, policy issuance, and servicing of claims to claim handling. So all these need to be developed, and the role of fintech in this is something which cannot be underplayed. It's coming in a big way as far as insurance is concerned. Then to promote digitization of insurance for policy, proposal documents, so as to enable remote access. This has taken off thanks to the COVID and its aftermath. Then to promote and popularize telemedicine for increasing access to health and to remote areas, at least the advice, consultancy, etc. can be provided, and medicines and other things can be dispensed in accordance with the guidelines which have been issued by Niti Aayog in one of its, and IRDA has also come out with a circular relating to this. And to push for development of healthcare facilities and health infrastructure, this is very, very important, because no one should be deprived of life just because there is no health facility which is available in the vicinity. Then to create the Indian pandemic risk pool for securing the country from future pandemic risks. Last but not the least, government or IRDA have to come out with a standard funeral insurance policy or have a compulsory social insurance cover for funeral expenses for every individual, because we want to ensure a decent cremation or burial for any person who has died, to avoid the issue of burying them just about anywhere, or throwing or dumping the bodies into water bodies and rivers like what has happened. In conclusion, we appreciate that insurance has a key role to play in responding to health disasters like pandemics, and ensuring that life and the enterprise related problems also do not aggravate, and the continuity of life and business happens in a smooth manner. Then IRDA, as can be seen from the various measures that have been discussed, has responded to the challenges faced by insured and the insurance sector. However, there is an urgent need to step up all-round effort for promoting insurance for all, and that should be the motto, and that should be the way forward. Thank you very much for your patience, and sorry for not being able to present it physically. Thank you.